Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. And this episode will be about Raw, Tough Enough, and Superstar spoilers. If you don't want to listen to them, don't have to watch the video. Okay, injury happened after Raw went off the air. I'll wait to tell you who it was in the dark match main event. Is it possible a champion? Or is it possible a former champion? Just wait and see. Alright, now for your event. Starting off with Tough Enough. We start off with a look back at what we saw in Season 1 Tough Enough for the entire season. See some highlights and lowlights. We see them show the contrast between Jeremiah and Luke on one side and Andy on the other. We see rises of Andy and falls of Andy and Martin, while Luke stagnated a bit until he returned to the top. Martin's run ended due to an ankle injury, which gave Luke and Andy a clearer path to the finals. Austin lights the fire under Andy, and it helped him get to the finals with Luke. Will it be the cocky Luke who was on top at the start of the competition, or will it be Andy who came on strong at the end, who becomes Tough Enough? Well, Chris Jericho thinks it's going to be Andy. Well, all the signs point to Andy anyways, so I'm going with Andy as well. And we go to Tampa, which is Andy's hometown. I wonder why, because he had to move there due to the fact he's already previously an FCW wrestler. Well, he is home with his family, and he talks about doing the regular tasks around the house, and he talks about missing his daughter for steps as he's playing with her. He talks about his son, who is on the way, as his wife is pregnant. His wife asks Andy about Luke, and Andy says that Luke is not in the same league as he is. And he does some workouts with his wife, and he talks about how she has a background in physical training. And he says that there is no comparison between him and Luke. And we see Andy pushing over large tractor tires in a it looked like a junkyard to me, being in the country. Could have been filmed elsewhere. Okay, Andy talks about the excitement and what he feels about seeing the trainers again. He says goodbye to his family, and he takes the long drive from Tampa to Tampa. Okay, we go to Maine, where Luke lives. He is shown partying on the water in a party barge with some friends. He talks about the rock and roll lifestyle. He talks about being a redneck rock star. Duh. Don't we already have Heath Slater? He says that he is going to kick ass in the ring, and then come back to party with his friends. Luke says that his workouts have not diminished one bit. He calls his workouts caveman training. He talks about how he has a ring set up to do some work. Luke says that this contract is his. He does not care how big Andy is, because he sees him as a little rabbit, and he's the big backed wolf, and he's going to take it. Luke says that Andy is big and he has some talent. Luke says that he is the perfect storm, and he is ready to go. Luke then says that people mistake his passion for arrogance. He says that so many people have sacrificed things for him. And then he goes to talk about his journey with his mom. And he drives off to Tampa. Well, he starts crying some to his mom and what have you, telling her goodbye. He says it just has to be Luke, and the contract is his. And then they cut to commercial. Back in Tampa, and we see the FCW arena as Andy and Luke both go to the ring, and they see Bill DeMott and Ricky Steamboat in the ring. What a surprise they saw when they saw Steamboat. Bill says that they will spend the week in Tampa training with Ricky Steamboat. Well, this was done actually 2 weeks ago. Andy is honored to train with Steamboat, and he talks about what he has done. Steamboat mentions that FCW is the main training facility, and he talks about how some of the people in WWE who have come through FCW, Steamboat says that he hopes one of them will be able to make it into the WWE. Bill then tells Luke and Andy that they will be training with Steamboat's trainers, and they will have a match live in a week. Well, they will be facing Bill DeMott, both of them in the match. Okay, Bill says that they to get into the WWE, you have to get through him, like I said at the beginning of the program and at the beginning of the season. And he is a man of his word. Luke says that Bill is one of the toughest, but it is time for some redemption. Bill says the next time that they see him will be in the ring. Their training starts now. Well, Bill says that the toughest part of the competition is yet to happen. Steamboat then says that he is going to build on their strengths over the next week. He has Andy and Luke do some work in the ring together, and that allows Steamboat to figure out the way to do things. He says that Andy has good cardio, but he is still a little reckless in the ring. Steamboat convinces Andy to slow things down. Steamboat says that Luke has a keen awareness of what is going on around him. He is going to have to take some risk at times as well. Luke knows that he is going to face bigger opponents, but he feels that he will always be the best. Okay, Andy then says that Luke is a decent mechanic, but he does not think much of him, and he hopes that he never has to see Luke again. Luke says that he feels that Andy is prepared, but Andy is not as cocky as he is. Steamboat discusses their strategy for dealing with Bill. Then they cut to commercial. Back from commercial, it's time to see the contestants return to the FCW arena. And Luke says that this week has been physically and mentally challenging. He has some frustrations, but it will get let out tonight. Andy says that he has some butterflies, but he ain't running nowhere. He came here to give his family a better way of life, and he will get past Bill DeMott to win the WWE contract. Luke talks about Andy's family and why he wants it, but Luke says that he sees a WWE superstar in the mirror. Booker T comes out to do commentary for this part of the show. Okay, as they're facing, like I said, Bill DeMott, Luke says that he feels the wolf coming out, and he looks forward to sinking his teeth into Bill. Bill comes to the ring, and they have to earn their spot and get past him. Lawler and Cole talk about who they think Austin will pick as they cut back and forth live to the actual Raw arena in Richmond, Virginia. Back and forth all through the show. Well, Lawler and Cole talk about who they think Austin will pick, and they go to commercial. Now for commercial, it's time to see the contestants return to the FCW arena again. Luke says that this week has been... I guess I did that twice. And Luke says that we're getting ready to unleash Luke Robinson on the world. Andy says he is going to win this. We have a montage of Luke and Andy in the ring with Bill DeMott. Bill goes to the back with Booker, and they ask Andy and Luke how they feel and whether they did their best. Luke says that they could have done more. He could have done more. Booker says that they both did a great job. Bill says that the WWE executives will review this. And on Raw, we will find out who is the tough enough champion. And we're back live in Richmond, and we are told that we'll find out who the tough enough champion is going to be next. We're back in Richmond again, and the trainers are introduced as they make their way to the ring. Booker T, Trish Stratus, and Bill DeMott come to the ring. Booker Bill and Trish have mics, and Bill says hello to everyone, and then he mentions that we crown a Tough Enough champion here live tonight. Somebody lives out their dream and gets a WWE contract live tonight. Bill brings out all the previous contestants who were eliminated, and they get the Superstars music. Michelle's run was so forgettable that Lawler called her Jennifer. Bill calls Ryan skid marks before calling him by his proper name because Ryan actually stared him down. Come on, Bill, get it right now. I'm off the show. Give me some respect. Rima is not with the contestants who were eliminated. Thus, she was so pissed off that she has a daughter to take care of, so she didn't show up. So guess what? She won't be getting a true WWE contract either. Okay, we got Trish introducing the two finalists. Andy comes out first, and follows by Luke. Booker congratulates Luke and Andy for making it this far. Booker has the honor of introducing the man who will determine who is going to be tough enough. And that's Stone Cold Steve Austin, who comes to the ring and gets a mic on, and he's coming out to the ring. Austin has a beer and he actually drinks it instead of spilling it on his shirt, which he actually did. The classic double beer, drinks a little bit. Actually, he took a sip of it and tossed it to the crowd, or came back later and got some more. Austin says that it is good to be back in Richmond. He didn't know if he would ever come back. He says he is proud of this year's class of Tough Enough, and he wants the crowd to give them a round of applause and a hell yeah. Austin says he hates how people call things amazing or a journey, but this has been an amazing journey. Austin thanks his three trainers for doing a good job this season. Austin talks about how they handle things during the episode of Tough Enough, with the trainer talking about the competition. Austin asked the opinion of the trainers. Bill says that both of them made it through a lot of obstacles and hurdles. It took a lot of guts and had to pay attention. Bill says that if he had to pick a winner, it would be Andy. Austin finds that interesting. He asked Trish for her pick. She says that each week they grew as performers, athletes, and individuals. She saw them vulnerable. There were times when she wanted to slap the cockiness out of Luke's mouth. She says that she likes that Austin is the one to make the decision. And she says that her pick, and she hesitated, would be Andy. Well, that kind of ticked Stone Cold off. I think it was supposed to go back and forth and have a drum roll. Well, like I said. And then he wants the opinion of the 5-time, take it back, 6-time world champion, Booker T. Booker says that Luke is a pretty boy with a hell of a look and a hell of a future in this business. Tonight he sees Andy, and he only has two things to say about Andy, and that's the it factor. And Andy has it. Booker says that the choice isn't up to him. Austin says that it has been a fun process, and as all three of the trainers have already picked your winners, so the majority is going to rule, and basically your winner will be mentioned on Raw. Well, he has been in the ring with each of them. Austin says that he has came up with the hard way, but he is still standing. Also said it. He has a PhD in this 20x20 ring. Austin asked Luke about Andy, and Luke says that from day one, this isn't show friends, it's show business. He showed up every day to be the next superstar, and you're looking at him. Well, Austin asked him if he is a superstar, and Luke says, hell yeah. Austin asked Andy about his trials and tribulation, and he wants his thoughts on Luke, and he says that Luke has no business being in the ring. He says that Luke is not a real athlete, and he says that he's insulted to be standing next to Luke. Then they cut backstage in the parking lot, or in the backstage in the arena. Limo pulls up, and it's none other than Vince McMahon walking out. Makes his way to the ring, and he's not doing his power walk. He's just walking. And then they cut to Raw. So the winner will be mentioned on Raw. Okay, and now for your partial WWE Superstars taping results for Thursday, June the 9th. Raw brand. Raw portion of the Superstars was taped from Richmond Coliseum in Richmond, Virginia. And the results are below. Like I said, coming up, Chris Masters defeats JTG by submission using the Master Lock. Match number 2, Melina and Maurice defeated Eve and Gail Kim by pinfall. And pinfall by Sunset Split. Okay. And now for some WWE news. Next week's 3-hour Raw Superstars matches. Tough Enough winner. The theme for next week's 3-hour Raw at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time from Uniondale, Long Island, New York will be WWE All-Stars Night to promote the All-Stars video game. Well, the video game's already out. So why even celebrate the game again? Because it sucks. Well, talents from both WWE brands are scheduled as well as Stone Cold. And during Raw, they make a special announcement that he's going to be part of the show as your special Raw general manager. Well, I already gave that spoiler 2 months ago. Okay, WWE will highlight High Flyers during July on WWE Classics On Demand. The synopsis reads, all July on WWE Classics On Demand, we soar to new heights with sports entertainment's greatest high flyers. Relive the aerial artistry of pioneers like Jimmy Superfly Snuka to the modern day aerial masters like Rey Mysterio. Please don't miss an all new episode of the original Roundtable series, Legends of Wrestling. And the Roundtable series is brought to you by Kevin Nash. Currently airing on this month, being June, WWE Classics On Demand, is the June 22nd, 1998 episode of WCW Nitro. One of the matches featured is Steve Mongo McMichael versus Stevie Ray, which climaxes with Chris Benoit interfering in the bout by preventing the Harlem Heat member from using a steel chair. Deadline Hollywood reports that The Rock Dwayne Johnson is in negotiations with Paramount Pictures to play the character of Roadblock character in the G.I. Joe sequel, Cobra Strikes. Now, I haven't even seen the first G.I. Joe movie yet, and I believe it wasn't he was supposed to be playing the character of Shipwreck. Well, you had Rise of the Cobra, but that was not G.I. Joe. That was just Rise of the Cobra. To me, that was just part of the G.I. Joe portion of it. Well, I guess I have to watch it online or something. Okay, next is WWE Hall of Famer Bret Hart announced today on Twitter that he will appear on WWE's upcoming tour of South Africa. Yes, it's a quote, yes, I will be a part of the WWE tour in South Africa. I always thought Cape Town was a beautiful city, as I believe Cape Town is the home of Justin Gabriel. And to finish off his quote, he was there last in 1997, very excited, and unquote, as Bret Hart wrote. Okay, also during that, the tour, the SmackDown brand tour South Africa, July 6th through the 10th. So I guess he's going to be traveling with the SmackDown crew. John Cena is featured on the cover of the July 2011 issue of WWE Magazine, so there's another spoiler. Breaking news! Former WWE star and now former TNA star Tommy Dreamer is done with TNA. He announced on his Twitter that he is finishing up with TNA at their upcoming baseball events, which is the live tour is not on TV or anything. He wrote, "If you need a reason to go to TNA shows on 610 Marion, Illinois, and 611 Memphis, Tennessee, those two will be his last two appearances for TNA to come and just to say goodbye to him, and then he thanks the fans for everything. Word going around is that Dreamer and TNA couldn't come to an agreement on a new contract. That's why he wasn't on the last two TV tapings. And he is now taking bookings through his own website, TheTommyDreamer.com. Mick Foley as well is gone from TNA. He wishes TNA well, comments on Hulk Hogan, and more. Regarding his departure from TNA, Mick Foley wrote the following on his Twitter last night. "I pushed hard for changes I felt would benefit Impact Wrestling. I can understand how some would interpret it that it's difficult to work with. I like everyone at Impact Wrestling. We just had some major differences of opinion. I wish them all well for real. I bet I can give you a personal highlight of my short-lived return to Impact that no one will ever guess. Want to try?" Okay, so before I tell you one of my favorite parts of returning to TNA, he says, "Remember, I don't work there, so I have no reason to make this up. One of my favorite parts of returning to at Impact Wrestling," if you notice, this is at Impact Wrestling, is their Twitter account. It was getting to know at Hulk Hogan for real. That's Hulk Hogan's real Twitter account. A little bit. I'm completely serious. Yes. Yeah, but I believe it's a comment to a fan at Ironbound 36. I do personally like at Hulk Hogan for real, and got a rush out of the in-ring segments we did together, especially the first one. And Hulk Hogan's supposed to have a big singles match return in the near future. WWE Hall of Famer Hacksaw Jim Duggan hosted this weekend's live Raw events in Huntsville, Alabama, and Fayetteville, North Carolina. Duggan's opener was interrupted by Nexus, which led to Duggan making Nexus versus Santino Marella, Vladimir Kozlov, and Evan Bourne. Wow. I wouldn't call that a main event in anybody's world. Which the babyfaces won, of course. Duggan later hosted a dance contest before intermission. And I hope it wasn't Duggan dancing. Ho! That's about it. Percy Watson is on the road with the Raw brand this week, so I guess he's getting a brand change. And he loses to Jack Swagger on the events. On a related note, Percy has been attacked. By The Miz after his losses to Swagger. This has led to The Miz cutting a promo on Alex Riley and a brawl between the two. At both shows, Riley and The Miz fought until WWE security broke them up. And word sent that Iowa independent wrestler AJ Smooth was one of Cody Rhodes' employees on this past Friday's SmackDown. Well, that was actually Tuesday's taping. Okay, WWE superstar Drew McIntyre turned 26 years old on Monday, while former WWE superstar Ahmed Johnson turned 41, and ODB from TNA turned 33. DDP, Stacey the Cat Carter, And Kazarni will be appearing at a Frankenson collectible show in Industry, California on Saturday, June the 25th from 11 a.m. till 2 p.m. More info, you can call 909-444-7955. Okay, John Cena has hit a milestone and broke the 7 million fan mark on Facebook. WWE Hall of Famer Ted DiBiase Sr. will be working with the Miami Dolphins during Finn's weekend that will benefit charities through a golf tournament, fishing tournament, and more. DiBiase will be auctioning off a WrestleMania 28 suite at the Dolphin Stadium that holds 14 people. The suite will come with a WWE title belt signed by these members. See if you can figure out which is not a WWE champion, but yet he's signing a belt. Triple H, John Cena, Kane, The Miz, Rey Mysterio, Ted DiBiase Jr., Sheamus, and of course, Randy Orton. Drum roll! Who was it? Ted DiBiase Jr. And there was 35 minutes and 33 seconds of in-ring action on this past Friday's SmackDown. Up just a bit from previous week. WWE diva Kelly Kelly is featured in a recent issue of Us Weekly. Or is it US Weekly? Whatever, I don't read the magazines. Well, it says, who wore it best? Featured against American Idol star Pia Toscano. Both were photographed in the same dress, and Toscano was voted to have worn it best. Okay, Jim Ross noted that WWE will be filming new Legends Roundtable segments next week with himself, Kevin Nash, Michael Purely Ugly Hayes, and James J. Dillon. Those not familiar with James J. Dillon, he was the manager of the Four Horsemen. Gene Okerlund will be hosting the event, so I got my info incorrect a little bit. But Kevin Nash is supposedly to do some more of the roundtable segments, unless he's part of the show itself. Okay, first show will mark the 15th anniversary of the NWO and air sometime in July, looking at WCW's hottest group from all sides. The second show will focus on major wrestling events held outdoors, including WrestleManias. WCW and Sturgis being Hog Wild, Road Wild, WWF at Shea Stadium, and more. That will air in August, and they didn't mention LA Coliseum. WWE superstar Brodus Clay has been added to WWE Studios' upcoming horror movie, No One Lives. What to me? No one's gonna care. The movie begins filming next week in New Orleans and is being directed by Ryuhei Kitamura. Ryu, I don't know how to pronounce it. And now, what you've all been waiting for, Raw results, June the 6th, 2011. Drum roll from where Tough Enough ends, and the lights go down. Austin looks Andy, and Luke up and down. It looks to be in deep thought. Andy starts yelling something at Austin and pointing to the fans. Austin picks Andy as the winner of WWE Tough Enough, and the music hits and Andy goes crazy. Austin embraces Luke and they talk. Luke shakes Vince's hand and Luke's before handing over his belt to Austin and leaving the ring. Austin asks Vince if he wants to congratulate his newest employee. Vince says he's not sure that he wouldn't have chosen the other guy. Vince welcomes Andy to WWE and slaps him straight to the face. And Andy plays it, falls to the mat. Andy gets back up. Austin introduces him to the crowd. shakes his hand, holds his hand, looks at Vince McMahon, Stone Cold Stunner. As his music hits, and he begs for the beer, and he calls Andy a SOB, congratulates him and welcomes him to WWE before celebrating with Vince and a few beers. And just as that's happening, R-Truth interrupts, so Stone Cold does not get to leave. And he also interrupts Vince McMahon, and guess what he's wearing? An old Civil War costume. Uniform. Still playing his heel character. They say the results. The Confederate soldiers, well, Confederate is still Civil War, and he is singing a tune about Little Jimmy. I forgot how. I was going to sing it, but I forgot how it went. And Truth says he's supposed to apologize for what he did last week. Vince shows us a clip of Truth berating fans last week, as the fan was actually a actor. Truth says he's a good little Truth, and apologizes to Big Jimmy, Little Jimmy, and the soda he threw. Truth repeats that he's sorry. Austin says that he should be sorry for dressing up like a jackass. Truth says he dressed like this because he knows where he's at, Richmond, Virginia. Truth calls it the capital of the Confederacy and rambles on. Calling the people inbred rednecks, a "you suck" chant breaks out. Truth says the Confederacy succeeded from the United States, so tonight he is succeeding from WWE. Truth says that they can keep the title match. After tonight, he won't make any more money off of him. Vince asks Truth if R is his real first name, and asks how to spell it. They go on when the Miz's music hits, and out he comes. As his little patented, really? Really, you suck, Miz. And he walks to the ring. Miz says he deals in reality, and if it weren't for Alex Riley, he would still be WWE champion. Riley then comes out and says he deserves one last title match. Alex Riley, as his music comes out to a nice reaction from the crowd, Riley says the only thing Miz deserves is a third straight week of beatdowns. John Cena's music hits next, and out he comes to a mixed reaction. Cena comes in and talks about everybody in the ring. He then says Miz said, "I quit" to him. I will not get a rematch because I will not get a rematch from the WWE title. Cena then tells Miz to get over himself. Cena says that he doesn't like or trust Riley, but he's proven he has a set of balls. Cena commends Riley for standing up to the Miz. Cena mocks Truth next, and Cena says Truth got the match at Capital Punishment. Email alert goes off, and we have an email from the Raw General Manager. Michael Cole steps up to make an announcement. Excuse me, please. Well, he gets interrupted. Vince is the one who interrupts him. He tells Michael Cole to shut the hell up. Vince says he got this. He got this one, and considering it's a special Raw, how about the main event be Truth and The Miz versus Riley and Cena? Vince makes Austin the special referee. Vince's music hits, and he leaves the ring as the participants. In tonight's main event argue, still in the ring, Austin and Cena have words as Austin exits the ring. Austin mocks Cena with the "you can't see me" gesture, and then they cut to a commercial. Back from a commercial, your first match is Santino Marella versus Michael McGillicuddy. Well, Kozlov is there with Santino, and so is David Otunga with Michael McGillicuddy. Back from the break, Santino is in the ring with one half of the WWE Tag Team Champions, Michael McGillicuddy. David Otunga and Vladimir Kozlov are at ringside, both taunting each other before the match. Santino strikes first, takes it to the corner. Santino ducks the clothesline and Atomic drops McGillicuddy. Then clotheslines him to the floor. Santino takes the ropes and mocks the Ultimate Warrior. McGillicuddy comes back in, but Santino catches him with right hands. McGillicuddy kicks Santino and takes control now. Santino comes back with arm drags and drop kicks. Attempt, but misses it. McGillicuddy hits a drop kick for his own for a 2 count. McGillicuddy beats Santino down in the corner. Got another 2 count. Santino rolls him up out of nowhere for a 2, but gets dropped with a clothesline. And another 2 count with a headlock from McGillicuddy. McGillicuddy misses a splash in the corner. Santino drops him with right hand. Santino with a big hip toss and a headbutt. More warrior gestures from Santino. McGillicuddy is pulled to safety by Otunga, but Kozlov lays him out at ringside. Santino pulls McGillicuddy back in, but gets dropped with a right hand. McGillicuddy goes for a running knee, but Santino moves. Santino hits a Cobra for the pin and the win. And they go, you get Kozlov doing the Santino thing. Isn't that copyright infringement? ODB's been doing that for years. And you got Cole and Jerry Lawler plugging tonight's main event. And your next match is Kelly Kelly and Beth Phoenix versus... I forgot. And they cut to the ring. Out comes team of Kelly Kelly and Beth Phoenix. Cole says they and the other divas are upset about the bad things Bella's twins said about Karma last week. We go to commercial and they make their entrance. So it's Kelly Kelly and Beth Phoenix versus the Bellas. Back from the break, we see the announcement from last week with Karma telling everybody that she's pregnant, and the Bella twins coming out to talk down about her. We go to the ring, and then out come WWE Divas Champion Brie Bella with her sister Nikki. Kelly starts things out with one of the Bellas, and they go at it. Kelly takes her down and gets a 2 count. Kelly gets dropped over the top rope and beat down in the corner as the Bellas tag in for some double teaming. Another tag and more working on Kelly in the corner. Kelly gets taken to the mat now and worked over. Kelly fights out and tags in Beth Phoenix. Beth clotheslines Bella repeatedly and hits a slingshot suplex for a 2 count. The other Bella comes in to break up the pin. Kelly takes her down with a bulldog. Beth hits a glam slam for the pin and the win. So your winners are the faces. Cole hypes Punk versus Mysterio tonight, and Lawler hypes the big tag team main event as we go to commercial. Back from commercial, Booker T is backstage talking with Trish Stratus. Well, talking about doing a spinneroonie in the back is what they're basically talking about. And Booker says that he's been working on a new move. The Trisha-rooney. Booker has Trish drop to one knee, holding her palm down and starts shaking it. Swagger walks in and this time interrupts him. Swagger says if he wants a tough enough trainer, all of the contestants would have been winners. Swagger says he's not sure if Booker is even tough enough and challenges him to get in the ring tonight. Swagger says if Booker thinks he could, if he still has it. Booker sets a challenge. Booker then says Swagger won't be running around doing a victory lap after this match. Booker asks Swagger if he can dig it. Sucker! Booker tells Swagger to back up off him as he leaves. Back off, bro. Back off. And then we got CM Punk versus Rey Mysterio up next. And we go to the ring, and out comes CM Punk with Mason Ryan. Mason Ryan is carrying the microphone as CM Punk stops on the rampway and sits down Indian style. And points out that, and then Mason Ryan hands him the microphone. He points out that he beat Rey Mysterio again last week, making it the third time. Punk says Rey's cried for a rematch, so he's getting it tonight. Punk said he's going to beat Rey once again and prove to the fans that the power of his Nexus is something. Punk asks the fans to join him in dismantling Rey Mysterio tonight. Punk's music hits, and they go back to commercial. That was a waste of minutes. Okay, back from the break, and we get replays from last week where Punk won the match. Rey Mysterio's music hits, and out he comes as Punk and Ryan look on from the ring. The bell rings, and Punk talks Rey. They lock up, and they go to the ropes. Punk misses a kick. They lock up again, and Punk applies a headlock. Rey turns it around, and they trade the holds. Punk takes Rey to the mat and works him over. More back and forth action. Rey with a nice roll up for 2. Punk drops Rey with a shoulder for a 1. And then they run the ropes. Rey catapults Punk onto his back. Punk goes to the floor. Rey tries to hit Punk with a kick from the ring. Punk grabs his legs. Rey still manages to take Punk down on the floor and avoid Mason at ringside. Mason's standing behind him, and Rey's getting up, and he just slowly looks around at him. And they go back. Punk then catches Rey on his shoulders for a GTS, but Rey fights out. Rey goes up top, but Punk kicks him off. Rey gets tied up, tied down in the corner, and for the trio woe, and Punk rushes in with a knee for a 2 count. Rey fights out of a hold, but Punk grabs him for a backdrop for another 2 count. Punk with body scissors now, more back and forth action. Rey tries to make it come back, but Punk drops him over the top rope. Punk takes Rey to the top and goes for a superplex, but Rey fights him off. Rey knocks Punk back to the mat and hits him with a flying shoulder tackle. Rey gets up and hits a crossbody for a 2 count. Rey with a head-scissor takedown. Punk catches Rey with a power slam for a 2. Punk runs into a boot in the corner, and Rey fights off Punk and kicks him into position for the 619. Rey goes for a 619, but Mason interferes. Rey knocks Ryan off to the apron and Punk down. Rey hits a big splash from the top for the pin and the win. And they go to ringside with Cole and Lawler talking about capital punishment. Lawler leads us into another one of the imaginary Obama press conferences. This time, guess who's doing the segment? This time, R-Truth is one of the reporters asking Obama questions. Truth has several questions, playing on the whole conspiracy thing. Not much said from that. We see John Cena and Alex Riley arguing backstage. Cena says he will fight with Riley tonight, but if he leaves him hanging, Cena walks off, and we go back to the commercial. Back from commercial, and we have Roberto Del Rio comes out riding in a Rolls Royce. Del Rio introduces himself and walks to the stage. There's a reason for this, but you're fixing to know that. Del Rio talks about the Big Show accident and shows a replay from 2 weeks ago. Del Rio heads to the ring and calls out Big Show so he can apologize. And he calls out Big Show, and we get a fake Big Show. It looked more like Bastion Booger. But, spoiler, it's none other than Ricardo Rodriguez as he reveals himself later on in this segment, as I will tell you in just a few seconds. Fake Big Show comes out on crutches. The sad-looking Big Show hobbles to the ring. Del Rio says what happened was an accident. The fake Big Show lets out a drunken yell. Sounds like, oh, what a rush. And goes back to chewing on something. Sandwich, donut, whatever it was. Couldn't really tell. Del Rio goes on and we get another dumb yell. And Del Rio continues to mock the fake Big Show and he tells him to go home. Lick his wounds and never ever disrespect him again. Del Rio gets serious and faces the camera, looks straight at the camera like I'm looking at you now. Tells the Big Show not to make him his enemy because he will get hurt. Del Rio says that it's not a threat, that's a promise. Because bad things happen to bad people. Well, guess what? And this is where Ricardo has revealed that he took off his headgear, mask. And it was Rodriguez has a fake Big Show all along. He takes off the bald cap and starts speaking in Spanish for Del Rio. Del Rio's music hits and they go to ringside. Cole plugs Zack Ryder versus Kofi Kingston up next before leading us to a promo video with highlights from Kofi from last week. And Kofi Kingston versus Zack Ryder was up next. Well, I believe Ziggler was there, and so was Vicky Guerrero for commentary. Back from the break, and Zack Ryder is in the ring with Vicky Guerrero and Dolph Ziggler. Dolph and Vicky go to commentary as we see a replay from last week where Dolph defeated Kofi in a non-title match. Kofi Kingston's music hits, and out he comes with the United States Championship belt for another non-title match. Bell rings, and they lock up. Ryder with a headlock. Kofi fights out. But Ryder dropped him on the shoulder. They run the ropes and Kofi takes Ryder down with an elbow and a drop kick. Ryder yells at Kofi and mushes his face. Kofi drops him with a right hand. Kofi goes leaping at Ryder in the corner, but Ryder moves. Ryder drops Kofi on his head for a 2 count. Ryder beats Kofi down in the corner and he kicks him in the face for a 2 count. Ryder with a headlock on the mat now. Ryder misses in the corner with a move, and Kofi drops him. Ryder tries to make a comeback, and they go back and forth for a few seconds or more. Kofi ends up getting a win with the Trouble in Paradise. R-Truth and The Miz are shown talking backstage. We see Booker T headed to the ring for his match as they go to commercial. And back from commercial, it's Jack Swagger versus Booker T. Swagger makes his way to the ring. And he's ready to go. Out next comes Booker T to a nice reaction. The bell rings and they go at it with Swagger. Taking control early, Booker fights out of it with a back kick and some chops on the ropes. Booker misses a kick and Swagger clotheslines him out to the floor. Swagger brings it back in for a 2 count. More back and forth action. Booker got in some nice reaction from the crowd with his trademark moves. Booker works Swagger over in the corner and he hits a kick off the ropes. Swagger rolls out to the floor to recover. And Booker wins by countout. Swagger's yelling, "I don't need this," and walks away from the ring. That's why Swagger's counted out. Winner by countout, Booker T. But wait, it's not over. After the match, Evan Bourne runs down the rampway and attacks Swagger. And well, all he did is throw an elbow to his back, knocking him over a little bit. And Bourne does this, come on. Then he gets in the ring. Surprise! Booker does his axe kick. Bourne brings us all into the ring and Booker joins in. Bourne hits the airborne on Swagger and then does a spin-a-rooney with Booker. Booker spin-a-rooney isn't what it used to be. Evan Bourne tried to do it. It was way off. He didn't even get a full spin before he fell out of it. More hype from the main event, then they cut to commercial. R-Truth and The Miz versus John Cena and Alex Riley is up next. That's your main event. Back from the break, and out first comes special guest referee Stone Cold Steve Austin to a big pop. Out comes next is The Miz, followed by his tag team partner, The Truth. R-Truth. And nothing but the fake truth. Nothing but conspiracy truth. Alex Riley's music hits next, and he is welcomed with a nice reaction from the crowd. John Cena's music starts next, and out comes the WWE Champion, and they cut to commercial. Back for the break, and here we go. Cena and Miz lock up to start things off. Miz takes Cena down, and Cena breaks free. Cena tags in Riley, but Miz runs away and tags in R-Truth. R-Truth and Riley lock up. Truth with a big hip toss and a 1 count by Austin. And Truth with another takedown and a headlock on Riley. Truth with a shoulder block. Truth with a shoulder block. Riley comes back with a hip toss and forearm shots. Riley got a 2 count. Riley tags in Cena, but Truth runs off and tags in Miz. Cena and Miz go at it. Cena with a bulldog. Riley chases Miz around the ring and gets dropped when he comes back in. Truth and Austin have words as they cut to a commercial. Back from the break, and Miz has Riley down on the mat after keeping control during the commercial. Riley fights out of a headlock, but Miz rams him back into the corner. Truth gets some cheap shots in. Miz drops Riley with a DDT and covers for a 2 count. Miz stomps on Riley and taunts Cena. Miz stomps on Riley in the corner until Austin, Stone Cold, pulls him off. Austin and Miz have words now. Miz charges into the corner, but Riley moves and he hits the ring post. Truth comes in now and stops Riley from making a tag. Truth taunts Cena and goes to work on Riley. Truth continues the assault on Riley and some more words with Austin. Truth beats Riley down in the corner and hits the running kick. Truth with a scoop slam. Truth goes for a shot from the second rope, but Riley puts his boot up. Riley tags in Cena as Truth tags in Miz, and Cena uploads on Miz, hitting the usual moves. Cena with a 5-knuckle shuffle. He goes for the attitude adjustment, but Truth stops it. Cena dumps Truth over the top rope. Cena applies the STF, but Miz makes it to the ropes. And the hold is broken. Truth comes in with a chair, but Cena ducks it and drop kicks him. But the Truth was holding the chair right in front of his face. Well, when Cena kicked him, the chair went to the side, so no chair shot to the head or anything. So that was the end of that. And like I said, drop kicked him because he hit him in the arms. He just drops the chair. Cena and Miz collide and they both go down. Well, that was a double clothesline, duh. Riley comes in the ring with a briefcase and acts like he's going to hit Cena with it. Riley lays Miz out with it instead. Winners, Alex Riley and John Cena. After the match, Stone Cold raises Riley and Cena's hand in victory. Austin has beers thrown in, tosses a few to Cena, and Riley and Cena and Austin pose in the corners, and Riley looks on from the floor as he goes off. Well, guess what? Email alert goes off, and Michael Cole steps up to make the announcement. The GM says Austin overstepped his authority in the match. So, now, Riley and Cena have been disqualified, and your winners are now R-Truth and The Miz. Just as that happens, the email alert goes off again, and Stone Cold is pissed. Well, he heads down to the podium. He says it's announced that on next week's 3-hour Raw, Austin will be the special guest general manager. Austin comes down to the podium, like I said, and takes the mic. Austin tears apart the laptop. Well, actually, he didn't. He just threw it to the ground off the podium, knocked the podium down. Then he just walked to the barrier and asked the fans, If they want him to be the GM next week, give him a hell yeah. Also brings Cole over and drops him with a right hand. Austin brings Cole back in the ring and asks for more beers. Austin pours beers all over Cole and the fans pop. And Austin lays Cole out with a stunner. Cena hits him with an attitude adjustment. Because Cole did not sell the stunner at all. It was like, it's like stood still. Austin then crawls in a. Okay, Cena hits the attitude adjustment. Austin goes to ringside and gets a mic and more beers. Austin crawls back in the ring to Cole's face, asks for a hell yeah if we're ready for Raw next week. Austin tells Cole that he will see him next week. First thing on Raw. Austin calls for more beers as Raw goes off the air with Stone Cold and Cena celebrating with more beer. And I'm going to give a little thing that Riley popped open the beers. I don't, if I'm remembering, he didn't even drink the beer. He just walked off. And what happened? And Riley is a party animal. I wonder why he didn't drink the beer. Must not have been his brand. Okay, and now for what happened after Raw went off the air. And your surprise spoiler, Miz may have an injury next week. Because he got a leg injury during the dark match main event against John Cena that took place following tonight's live Raw telecast in Richmond, Virginia. The injury occurred when Cena threw the Miz out of the ring. Miz landed awkwardly on his leg and the match was stopped. No winner was announced. So they officially stopped the match at that point. And he was carried out to the back by the paramedics. Cena showed a little bit of concern as the Miz was led away and the match ended without an announced finish. He then thanked the fans for attending the event as they cut to the end as the show ends. Stay tuned tomorrow night for your SmackDown, NXT, and SmackDown version of your internet superstars.